Welcome to Unity on the North Shore Sunday service. Wasn't that a marvelous introduction we had from Danny Bauer? Quite very virtuoso. I better be careful. I shouldn't use big words, I guess, maybe. Okay. If joining virtually on Zoom or watching later on social media, we're glad you're here. My name is Ray Hatlin, and I will be the platform assistant. Diane Testa will be our prayer chaplain. Reverend Kurt and our ministerial intern, Jeff Berry, will co-host a special celebration in gratitude for those who serve within our spiritual community. And of course, our musicians, Danny Bauer and Cal Youngleson. Okay. So let's get quiet. Let's go within. And we'll start with a prayer. Holy Presence, we know that in God we can never be separate from love, from truth, from infinite intelligence, and our source of all good. We gather here in this sacred place to open our hearts and minds to the one power and one presence. We gratefully receive the energies of divine light and love pouring in through us. And we affirm we are here this morning for a divine purpose. We trust that that purpose is now being fulfilled. We know that we are in the presence of pure being, immersed in the Holy Spirit of life, love, and wisdom. And so it is. Amen.
You might know this one, so if you know the chorus, sing along, you got it. Such a feeling's coming over me. There is wonder in most everything I see. Not a cloud in the sky, got the sun in my eyes, and I won't be surprised if it's a dream. Everything I want the world to be is now coming true, especially for me. And the reason is clear, it's because you are near. You're the nearest thing to heaven that I've seen. I'm on the top of the world looking down on creation, and the only explanation I can find is the love that I've found ever since you've been around. Your love's put me at the top of the world. Something in the wind has learned my name, and it's telling me that things are not the same. In the leaves on the trees and the touch of the breeze, there's a pleasing sense of happiness for me. There is only one thing on my mind. When the day is through, I hope that I will find that tomorrow will be just the same for you and me. All I need will be mine if you are here. I'm on the top of the world looking down on creation, and the only explanation I can find is the love that I've found ever since you've been around. Your love's put me at the top of the world. top of the world, looking down on creation, and the only explanation I can find is the love that I've found ever since you've been around. Your love's put me at the top of the world. Sing it if you know it. I'm on the top of the world, looking down on creation, and the only explanation I can find is the love that I found ever since you've been around. Your love's put me at the top of the world. Your love's put me at the top of the world. Your love's put me at the top of the world.
Aren't they a great team? Well, welcome again. Unity is a positive, practical approach for spiritual living, based on the grace of God and the teachings of Jesus and the power of prayer. We believe in the truth and beauty is in every spiritual tradition. We honor the many paths to the one God. Wherever you are on your journey of faith, you are always welcome here. Our purpose here is to create a safe space where people are empowered to take risks and live their deepest truth. If this is your first Sunday, we extend a loving welcome to you. Many of us were surprised to learn there was such a spiritual community that thought and believed the same things we did. It felt like we were coming home. We believe, and the fact that we believe in the same things. We hope your experience this morning is powerful and that you'll return. This morning, we have a celebration to do. So stay tuned for, and afterwards too. So I think I'll take it over to yours.
Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. This healing, healing day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This healing, healing day. This healing, healing day.
Thank you for this day. Love it. Good morning, everyone. I am Diane Testa, and I am your prayer chaplain for today. I will also be at the back of the sanctuary after service today to pray with you if you want to join me or come back and see me. So let us begin by reflecting on today's daily word. As I read, allow the words you hear spoken to become silent and powerful meditation. So today's daily word for November 20th is grace. Grace blesses my life in every way is the affirmation. If I'm feeling overwhelmed or find myself in the midst of conflict, I don't need to struggle. Grace, the ceaseless activity of divine love, is mine to claim. This infinite resource of spirit carries me through even the most challenging circumstances. It is expressing in my life right now. I need not earn grace. It is never withheld. Just as water flows when I turn the tap, saying yes to grace is all I have to do for divine life, love, wisdom, and strength to flow freely to every part of my life. Centered in grace, I am at peace. My thinking is clear, and I possess ample understanding, compassion, and insight. Drawing from this divine gift, I bring harmony and joy to my relationships. I move forward with renewed confidence, energy, and efficiency. He said to me, "My grace is sufficient for you, for power is made perfect in weakness." And that's from 2 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 9. And now, as we continue to focus on prayer, I invite you to relax and close your eyes. And as you focus on your breath, take a deep and gentle breath in and release. We relax and let go. As we still our minds and open our hearts, peacefully resting in the presence of divine spirit within. God is present in and all around us and our loved ones right here and right now and always. Let us rest in the silence, holding in prayer yourself, your loved ones, now in the silence. Dear Holy and Divine Spirit, we hold in prayer all who are suffering and affirm the presence of God's love, grace, and guidance in every person and every human condition. And so it is, and so we let it be. I now invite you to request a personal prayer. For those of you who are here in person, you can place your written prayer requests in the box in the sanctuary. I think it'll be in the back there for you. For those of you online, you may enter your prayer request in the chat box and or use the website prayer link that's going to be placed in the chat. Also, you can request prayer, confidential prayer, online on the Unity website, and that'll be prayed over by the prayer team. All prayer requests will be prayed for the next 60 days. And I'll also be available after church to pray with you and back. And now, let's return to Cal and Danny for more inspirational music. Thank you.
La 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 You've been so kind and generous. I don't know how you keep on giving. For your kindness, I'm in debt to you. selflessness, my admiration, and for everything you've done. You know I'm bound to thank you for it. La 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 la. La 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 la. You've been so kind and generous. I don't know how you keep on giving. For your kindness, I'm in debt to you. And I never could have come this far without you. So for everything you've done, you know I'm bound to thank you for it. La 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 la. La 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 la. Oh, I wanna thank you for so many gifts you gave. You gave with love and tenderness. I wanna thank you. I wanna thank you for your generosity, the love and honesty that you gave me. I wanna thank you, show my gratitude, my love and my respect for you. I wanna thank you. I want to thank you, 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 thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Cal. Thank you, Danny. Oh my goodness, and thank you. Diane introduced me to that song for today, and it's dedicated to all those of you who are sitting here today who have in any way contributed time and talent to the well-being of this spiritual community. That's really what this service today is designed to do, is just a real celebration of the ways in which we have come together to support one another as we move through these crazy times. It's just been, over the last couple of years especially, we've had to find new ways to do that, new ways of being together, new ways of supporting one another, and this is just an opportunity for us to really relish that, to really recognize and claim what a beautiful expression of God's love that is and how it's showing up for us together. So, if you were here last week, we're sort of doing gratitude as a whole theme for the month of November. If you're here last week, I spoke a little bit about the distinction between giving thanks for and giving thanks from. I was listening to Eric Butterworth a little bit this week. He's got a great archive of recordings. Oh, I got to share this because it was just fun. So it's a little bit of a non sequitur, but Eric Butterworth, very often on the Sunday before Thanksgiving, he would stand up before the congregation and he would say, you know, it's great that we have this wonderful day of celebrating and giving thanks. And you know what, I have a different idea though. What I would like to propose is that we have a day of tribulation. And he says, then the other 364 days we can devote to completely coming from a consciousness of thanksgiving. So we get all of that griping and complaining out on one day, and the rest of the time, he did it just as a joking thing, but it seems to be a recurring suggestion that he had played. So anyway, we're here on this Sunday before Thanksgiving to sort of cultivate that deeper dimension of thanks that I mentioned, right? So it's easy enough for us to give thanks for as we start to count our blessings and we look around at just the great stuff that's in our lives, the rewarding relationships, maybe the job that we have a warm bed to sleep in at night, it's easier for us to kind of catalog those and give thanks for them. But all of us experience points in our lives and in our journeys where there's stuff that we're not so thankful for, right? There's a diagnosis, that we're fearful about. There's so much, if you look at the headlines on the news, like the human consciousness stuff that we worry about all the time, it's hard to give thanks for that. And what Butterworth suggests, and what I sort of tried to articulate last week, is that the space for us to move into that place of being aligned with what we know to be the truth of God, the truth of all that is good, is to open our consciousness and our awareness to being able to come from that with a place of gratitude, right? So that even if there's nothing that I can point to right now and put on a list to be grateful for, in those times, if I'm aligned with who I truly am, if I'm aligned with sort of the cosmic energies of the divine that are always bringing forth a greater expression of good and love in the divine. If I'm aligned with that and coming from that, then I can always be in that state of being grateful. That attitude of gratitude arises out of a source that is infinite, that can never be depleted. And the energy that I bring to it is completely different, right? So what I'm inviting us into this morning, as we move through and begin to recognize some particular areas in the ministry where we want to really give thanks for folks in the service that they've given, is that you can sort of rest in your heart in a space where you're coming from. It's not that we're just grateful for this service that Sharon Myers provides on Hospitality Sundays, handing us a plate. We're not just grateful for that, but we're coming from an alignment with oneness where we recognize that in that connection, there is a deeper expression of love that's happening. And so as we move through this morning and we begin to give thanks for the service that folks have given in the community, and we even have one of the ministries we're celebrating today is our outreach. So we have a special guest here from our tithing partner this year. I'll tell you more about that. But as we move through that, what I'm inviting you into is to consider this an opportunity to sort of move into your own heart and come out of an expression where you're giving thanks from that awareness of Spirit's presence in all things. Giving thanks from that you can kind of carry out into your life, and that becomes a level of consciousness and energy that we hold, a vibration that we hold no matter what we're interacting in, no matter what the circumstances are around us. So with that, I invite you to breathe in. Maybe you can place your hand over your heart. And just become fully present to the energy of life that's coursing there, even in the beat of your heart. As you feel the beat of heart, certainly we can be grateful for the next breath and the beating of our own hearts. But we can also come from that energy of life and bring that into a fuller expression and a fuller articulation, into a fuller embodiment of what it is to be alive and vital and a creative, attractive force of energy on this planet. So rest there as you breathe in, breathe out, return your attention to the room here and now. And I'm going to invite Jeff Barry, our ministerial intern, to begin us in this journey through really expressing this appreciation from, this gratitude from, for those who have given of time and talent in our ministry.
Good morning. So Kurt and I started planning this service, and we're like, we weren't really specific about what we were going to do. It was kind of a free-form creative process. And so I was thinking I would come up today and start by kind of reviewing what Kurt talked about last week. And then Divine Order stepped in, and Kurt did it for you. So we have to laugh at Divine Order and all the fun that Divine Order puts into our lives. And so I was thinking, what am I going to talk about? We're here to really thank you for being a part of this community and showing up and serving. And I got to thinking, we're celebrating Thanksgiving. We want to thank you for serving, and so we're going to serve a little luncheon afterwards for you all. And I thought, well, what am I going to talk about? Am I talking about thanking, or am I talking about serving? And I got to really thinking about the consciousness of how those two things are really the same thing. Because it's a cycle. It's just like everything else we do. We breathe in, we breathe out. We give and we receive. We serve and people thank us for serving. And so it's just another human expression that we're all caught up in and participating in. It's a cycle. It's a circle, and it's a blessing. And I was thinking, well, there was some energy this week around the idea that, well, what if I forget to thank someone who has served? And that would be so counterintuitive, and we don't want to leave anyone out. So I kept thinking, well, everyone serves. Every one of us serves. Whether you're serving in this community, whether you're serving in your family, whether you're serving at work, we're all in the process of serving. And we're all grateful for that process. And so, thank you all for serving. And everyone has served. If you're not sure how you serve, just think for a minute. In fact, let's go back into the silence for a moment or two and think about how we serve. Not so much who we serve, but how we serve. And this gets back into Kurt's point about where gratitude comes from. And where does our prompting to serve come from? And the joy that it brings us to offer from our hearts our energy and our love. So let's close our eyes for a moment or two and start to focus on your breath again, and think about the ways that you are making a difference in someone's life somewhere. That prompting that we get from Spirit, that calling, and answering that calling. And so take that idea out with you this week as we go to our families and our friends and our neighbors and our workplaces, and we spread love and we serve others, and we're all caught up in this flow. And so we say, infinite wisdom, divine love, thank you for bringing all of us into the awareness of how we exemplify you, Great Spirit. The way that we say yes, and we accept your love, and we pass it on. And for this idea and this awareness, this week we pay special thanks to everyone, and in return, receive gratefully. And in the light of this truth, we say it is. We bless you, honor you, and thank you.
One of the ways that we have seen demonstrated so beautifully in terms of this giving attitude, this coming from, is really the gift of deeper connection, of building community, of building relationships that maybe we hadn't known before. And so I wanted to sort of propose that specifically the folks who helped to work on the gala, last month's gala in October, had a beautiful opportunity both experience that and to express it and to create that for us. Through, it doesn't matter which part, there are so many teams that were involved in creating that. We had, first of all, the organization team. We had folks who were working on both a silent auction and a live auction. We had folks who were working on food and entertainment. But there was this sort of beautiful coming together to create an experience where we actually could be together for the first time in years and enjoy a time for dancing and sharing and getting to know one another. I'm especially proud, I think, that this year's gala had, one of the effects was it brought together a whole lot of new folks to our community who maybe knew some people who were here but didn't know others, and so it was this beautiful sort of mix and blending to be able to really share the message of unity in a deeper way. So what I would like to do is maybe have all of you who are involved in the gala in any way, if you would please stand so that we can recognize you. And again, what I'm wanting as those of us who are sort of building that sense of appreciation from, sort of hold that in your heart and send them this beautiful cosmic blessing from this place of knowing the truth that deeper connection has happened through the gifts of their time and talent and service. So if you were involved in our recent gala in any way, would you please stand? You are reluctant. I figured there'd be most of the folks in the room. Yeah, thank you. And those of you who are online, go ahead and turn your cameras on, because I know we've got some folks who are helping remotely from home, doing beautiful work at helping to create just a greater experience of being together in a time when that kind of togetherness has completely shifted and changed. So bless you, each and every one of you. Thank you so much. We also want to, as we sort of move through this blessing experience, I'd like to now, well, before I do that, what I want to talk about is just a process through which we're able to sort of move into that gratitude from, that higher level of consciousness, that higher perspective of knowing truth regardless of the outer circumstance. There is a team within our community whose very work is founded on that notion. They are deeply committed to holding the high watch for not only individuals within the community who come to them for prayer, but holding the high watch for our whole spiritual community, holding the high watch for our neighbors, especially as we move through this time of a building sale. But our chaplain program, our prayer chaplain program, has just recently finished their training for this coming year. And so at this time, I would like to invite our chaplain team forward so that we can recognize them. Those of you who have just come back from the retreat and are serving on, I think there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So Sharon's not here, 7. I thought there were 8. 7. There are 8? 1, 2. Oh, Michael, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Sharon, and there's one more. Priscilla. Yeah, is Priscilla online? Blessings, Priscilla. Oh, great, we got this thing. So those of you who maybe don't really know exactly what chaplains do, they basically are, what their activity and their work sort of shows up as is holding sacred space. So from the moment they walk on grounds, when they are on chaplain duty, they are holding an energetic vibrational space for us to step into, to welcome us into. They're doing that whenever they're praying with you individually, and they're sort of holding that just as a baseline, a faith base for us. Then hold sacred space. Lovingly listen is the next piece, so that particularly if they're in prayer with you, if you've requested prayer, they're listening from a space that is just completely receptive to holding that high watch, to knowing that you are a child of God, that I am a child of God, that they are children of God, and just to listen through that lens. And then they pray, hold sacred space, pray from the heart. So they're listening for truth both from above and beyond. And then, of course, the fourth piece of that is to hold in confidence anything that's shared, so that there's a deep level of trust that can happen within our spiritual community. They spend hours training this, drilling this. In their monthly meetings, they review it so that they can truly stand in that space of holding a high watch. The example I like to think about that I've been working with this week is that, and again, sort of going back to that space where there are times in all of our journeys when maybe we aren't, there's something we can't feel grateful for. There's something that we have a challenge with really seeing the other side of it. And the biblical example that I really love is Jesus as he shows up to the tomb of Lazarus. And in that moment, Jesus is surrounded by folks in grief because Lazarus has died. He's been sealed in a tomb, and there is Jesus. Thankful for that his good friend has died? Probably not. But what he does in that moment, oh good, Priscilla's here. What Jesus does in that moment is looks up, right? So he's moving into that space of knowing consciousness from a higher level, of knowing that life extends beyond this. And by that, sort of invokes the power of the divine to move into a different experience of that. That is exactly what our chaplains do. They are looking up, they are holding that high watch, they are knowing the connection that each of us share from a deep, deep level for us and for one another and for our community. So Jeff, would you mind giving me a hand with this part? What I'd like to do is just, if you would bestow the stoles that are hung across the rail there. Diane's already in hers because she's on duty. But just as a recognition that each of these chaplains, prayer chaplains, has committed to holding that sacred space for us and has committed to doing that for the next year for us as a spiritual community. They'll be making calls to our voting members. Each of you voting members are each assigned a chaplain, and they make monthly wellness calls just to check in and support you in prayer and meditation. Chaplains also, as you know, as you've seen Diane do this morning, each week there's a different chaplain who is sharing the daily word with us and just holding that vibrational energy for us and praying with us on a candle afterward. Chaplains meet monthly so that this beautiful connection that they have and this energy that they generate, that they keep that going, they keep their consciousness high, they stay in a really receptive space so that they can continue to be really light in our lives and lights through the channels. So, yay. And I think, is there anything that you wanted to share? So chaplains also, part of what bonds them together is they have a kind of a chaplain theme song. It's Here I Am, Lord, and I think they sing at the end of every meeting. They've been doing that in this ministry since it started 17, 18 years ago. Have I got that right? Priscilla, every time we ask her, she was on the chaplain team. The duration gets longer and longer. I think last time I asked her it was 20 years, 27 years. Priscilla's going forever. So Priscilla is probably our longest serving chaplain, and then various other 10 years for each of them. We welcome Mike as a brand new chaplain, Mike Nash as a brand new chaplain in this community, although he served at Oak Park before, so we've got plenty of experience there. And Michael Pinoza, your second year. The rest of you have been doing it forever. I know you want to kind of regroup so that you can hear one another for the song. Is there? Stand close so they can hear each other, and then we got a microphone. How about if I'll hold the mic here, so we'll do a collective.
Their world to mend. I will
that's beautiful. So I'm also realizing most of them are also former choir members too, so you sounded great. You didn't need to worry about practicing at all. So before we release them, let them down, I would love for us to sort of send a cosmic bug. Move to that place in your heart where you're blessing from, where you know your oneness, where you know the truth of your being, and you know that we are deeply connected to this beautiful group of prayer chaplains as they commit to this service to us for the next week. And we'll do we love you, we bless you, we appreciate you. Together, prayer chaplains, we love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, we behold the Christ as you. So it is. You are doing great things. You are doing great things.
And now we bestow your names so that these prayer chaplains, if you will have your names and you will be called on a monthly basis and a few other things. So thank you so much.
So yeah, so Olga's passing out their assignments, those of you who are online. These are packets where members of the church are each going to receive a monthly call. So this is a big reveal for them. They'll know who their chaplees are in this next year. So thank you again. Bless you. So appreciate you. Beautiful. And to Jeff's point that in Thanksgiving, right, there's like thanks and there's giving and there's this beautiful kind of circular process that happens with that. And the same is true with us as a ministry. In the same way that we are blessed by the service that we give to one another, we also extend that service out. There are beautiful ways in which we show up in the greater Evanston community. One of those ways is through our tithing. And most of you are probably aware that in this last year, the board made a choice that we wanted to be a little bit more intentional with the tithe money that we share with other groups that support us, other individuals who support us. And we wanted to really look at maybe leveraging the money that we're giving to other organizations in a way that we can give of time and talent as well. So it's not just money, but there are ways that we can engage and build relationships. And so we decided that we would create this program where we would have a tithing partner. And we would allocate that $5,000 over the course of the year of the money that we tithe back to the greater community. We would share with one specific organization. And the organization that we decided to do that with this year was Interfaith Action of Evanston. We've long had a relationship, but we really are looking for ways to sort of deepen those kind of connections. And so Jan Bellotti serves on the board, and she's the liaison who's helping sort of develop that program. She's done a great deal of work. And also, Joyce Davidson is our Interfaith Action delegate. Interfaith Action has kind of its own structure, and within that, Joyce had agreed to serve as our delegate to Interfaith Action. So Joyce is here to talk a little bit about her work as a delegate, and then she's also going to introduce to us Susan Murphy, who is the executive director at Interfaith Action, and she'll talk to us a little bit more about the work that they do and the ways that we can participate in that. So come on up, Joyce. We have a handheld or we have the mic on the platform, whichever you prefer.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. As Reverend Kurt said, I'm Joyce Davidson. So I'm a new delegate to IAE. Candace was the one before. And there are two reasons why I decided to be the delegate. One, I'm passionate about doing service in honor of my son. And the second reason is that IAE's mission aligns with mine, which is to serve the community in the areas of homelessness and food insecurity. And that was the main reason that I became the delegate. My main function as the delegate is to pass on information from IAE to my congregation, to this faith community. And so I would like to introduce a person who will tell you what IAE's mission is and what they really do. And I am so glad that this church decided to choose IAE to give this monthly tithing to. So in October, there's an annual delegate meeting, and we honored this person for 2 milestones. She got married, and this is her 25th year with IAE. So I would like to introduce Sue Murphy Burby as the Executive Director of Interfaith Action of Evanston.
Thank you. Yeah, I can't believe it's been 25 years that I've been working with Interfaith Action. And we've grown a lot over those years. And just, this isn't on my little talk here, but 3 different things coming here today. We had a Thanksgiving service here, so I remember this space. It was amazing. Because one thing we do is have a Thanksgiving, all-city Thanksgiving service every year, the night before Thanksgiving. And then another thing where I'm feeling really welcomed, the song, on top of the world, I have a song for each of my children, and that is one of my daughter's songs, and it's also her ringtone. So when you started singing, I thought, oh my gosh, I didn't turn my phone off. So anyway, I love that song. And also, this is just kind of funny, then your word is grace. Susan means, the word supposedly means grace. I have 4 sisters. I'm the favorite. Just don't ask them, because they'll say they are too, but I really am. And my mom passed away, and I don't live near there, near where my sisters and my mom lived. And so they designed the funeral service. And the song that they sang, they had people sing, the choir sing, was Amazing Grace, which really is Amazing Susan. So that's what my kids and I sang, was Amazing Susan. Made my sisters laugh. I don't know if it made them happy. So anyway, I feel very at home here, and thank you. So Interfaith Action's mission is to serve people who are experiencing hunger and homelessness. And as in our name, we hope to take action. And with the help of you, with this wonderful donation, and with your wonderful volunteers, we are able to take action. The Hospitality Center at St. Mark's has been around for 36 years, and we have breakfast for our homeless neighbors, computers, employment training. It's a safe place for people to come in and spend the morning sleeping if that's what they need to do. Riding the train all night is really tiring. Most important, I think, we offer a place that they can come and be respected. We're taking action. This year we started, just 3 weeks ago, a winter weekend morning shelter. And it opened on October 29th. And we kind of looked around for where is there a time that there is really no place for people to go. Things are opened up now due to COVID. We were open more when there was really no place to go. But the different faith communities that had given us space are actually having church services now, which is a good thing. So we looked around, and there is really no place for people who are homeless to go on Saturday and Sunday mornings between the time we open at or we close the overnight shelter at 7 in the morning until the library and other things start to open. So Connections for the Homeless runs Hilda's Place, and they are closed on the weekends, so they said we could use their space. So right now, as we speak, we are open at Hilda's Place where people can come in on Saturday and Sunday morning, again, have a light breakfast, and have a place to get out of the cold for the winter. The overnight shelter opened this year, also in October. We spent 3 weeks at St. Paul's Lutheran Church. Right now we're at St. Luke's Episcopal Church. We have 8 different faith communities in the downtown area. Or I should say we have 8 who give us 3 weeks. We have 1 who gives us 6 weeks. So this year we were able to be open for 30 weeks. We'll be open all the way through May. And our goal is to continue to add weeks, to add spaces that will let us have people sleep inside. Because honestly, nobody should sleep outside ever, not even in the summer. You know, we think it's fun if we go camping and we sleep outside. It's not fun if that's where you have to sleep every night. So we are open there. Right now we're waiting for the health department to give us the okay to add more beds. We had 38 people pre-COVID. We had to cut it down to 20 because we have to keep the cots 6 feet apart. But I'm supposed to get a call this week, hopefully with the news that we can add another 10 people who can come in and have a safe place to sleep at night. The Produce Mobile continues to serve about 250 to 300 families each month. And that is the second Tuesday of every month. And that one, again, is kind of close to me and physically too, because I live near Robert Crown and that's where we are. But the Greater Chicago Food Depository brings a semi-truck filled with fresh produce. Our volunteers box it all up. People get in line. There's about, many, many people in line. There's no ID necessary, it's for everybody. And I live near there. One night I was sitting around the bonfire in my yard with some neighbors, and one of the ladies who I knew her husband was out of work. I knew they had 2 children. They own a home in the neighborhood. But she was sitting there and she said, I saw all these people over at Robert Crown, and so I walked over there and I got enough potatoes and carrots to last our family for a whole month. So it just hit me, that's for all of us. We all have times where we just need some help. So it's an amazing ministry. And we have added something to it called SnapGap. And SnapGap has been growing over the last couple of years. It used to be, it's link cards or snap cards that people can use to get food, but they don't provide for important things like toilet paper, for one thing, toilet paper, laundry detergent, things like that. So we are now at the Produce Mobile also giving out toilet paper every other month and laundry detergent on the opposite months. The soup kitchens are pretty amazing. They have continued to serve all through these last few years. Although there have been many challenges because, of course, our buildings were closed, so people couldn't come in and eat. So they would purchase the meals and serve them at the door. So that was very difficult, but it also helped the people who in our community who own restaurants we purchased the meals from. We got through that time. Not a single soup kitchen closed during the whole pandemic. And we have 9 of them, so there's at least one every day in Evanston. Some days there's lunch and dinner. Some of them are beginning to open their doors again, which is great because I think part of one of the important parts of a soup kitchen is the community that it brings. People sit around a table and talk with each other. It also gives the volunteers a chance to meet and talk with our guests. So we're looking for more soup kitchen teams, and we're really hopeful. I know that the Thanksgiving soup kitchen this year will be indoors when people can come in. And it's a great way to learn about our guests. So if you volunteer, you get to meet the people. We have volunteers at the hospitality center in the morning, at the overnight shelter both in the evening and in the morning. And our guests love to share their stories with you. And sometimes I listen and I think, I don't know if that's actually true, but it's their story and they're sharing it, and then you can share back with them. So you really learn that they are people just like you. It's in the Thanksgiving and the gratitude. You're right, it works both ways. You're there serving, but you're learning about them. And they learn about you, and we find that we all have so much in common. I learned something from you, Kurt, many years ago. I was here, you spoke at a service about yes messages, and you were talking about children who are neglected, how we provide yes messages to our children, even if it's just holding them when they're new babies, but many children are not given those messages, those yes messages. And it made me think about our neighbors who experience homelessness. And many of them hear the word no over and over and over again. No, you can't sleep here. No, you can't have any money. No, go away. So after I heard that, Interfaith Action started providing little yes messages. Yes, here's a razor, a toothbrush, a comb. Yes, you can sleep here. Yes, I'd love to listen to you. So thank you, Kurt, for teaching us that. And thank you all for taking action. We appreciate everything you do for Interfaith Action and for our community as a whole. And thank you for saying yes.
Congratulations. 25 years and the marriage. That's a lot of cool blessings. Oh, yeah. So Sue's mentioned Interfaith Action is largely driven. I mean, she's, I think, the only paid. Maybe there's a bookkeeper, a couple of employees, but most of all that programming that she described is run by volunteers. So there are plenty of opportunities for us to engage and get involved and really be a wonderful blessing in the community. So let's see. I also want to make sure that we're, as Jeff mentioned, we don't want to leave anybody out because there are so many folks who work so hard to make sure that we in the spiritual community feel blessed, that we have a safe space where we can really begin to explore more deeply how the Spirit is active in our lives and how it's connecting us and how it's moving us to do great things in the world. So I want to try, I'm not going to do it by names, but I want to try just to give you maybe a deeper sense of some of the teams that are involved in creating this ministry and this community together, because I think it's really easy to for that stuff to kind of go under the radar. But in addition to our prayer chaplains and in addition to our outreach team, we also have a separate prayer team that sort of operates behind the scenes. That is completely confidential. Whatever you submit on a prayer request goes to them. And there's 4 or 5 people who are a part of that. We have greeters, we have platform assistants, we have hospitality people, we have folks who come in and clean up, we have folks who even without, unbidden, even without being asked, will take care of stuff that just needs to be taken care of because they're mindful of what it takes to be in spiritual community. We have this amazing Right and Perfect Home. These teams now stretch out over, close to 5 years when we first started entertaining the question about what would it take for us to really be in the right and perfect home. So we have a whole lot of ad hoc teams who have been part of that discernment process. We have teams who continue to work on preparing us to move once the building does sell. We have teams who are working on the legal dimensions of it. There's just so much that's happening. We have people who are working on communications to make sure that those e-blasts are getting out and you're aware of what's happening. What else? What other teams do we have? Am I missing any? I'm sure I am. Media, live stream team, of course. Oh my goodness. I watched, Nan wasn't here. When I was away, my friend Nan was here, and she did a wonderful shout out that I think really helps us understand more deeply how important that is, especially for those who aren't here in person. That's just a beautiful way that our message gets extended. We have tech folks that are helping us. Part of this last year, we have completely changed. I got to give a huge shout out to our Board of Trustees. Over the last 3 years, we have, I don't know, I mean, certainly you understand that there's a lot of stuff that's changed, but they have navigated everything from, we have all new staff, including new musicians who are working with us, new administrative staff. We have moved platforms. We have done a new website. We are doing all of our background and tech stuff on new software, online software. There's just so much that this board has enabled and equipped and empowered us to be able to do and stay and complete that really is a part of how this community continues to function and operate. So I'm trying to think, garden teams or people who are outside working on just the appearance of the place, fundraising teams, all of that is so crucial to the ways in which we can continue to stay connected. And I hope just in sort of mentioning that list, that if you are in there, you have a sense of like, wow, yes, that work is noticed and it's important. And more broadly, what I'd like to do is move back into that space in your heart right now. That space that isn't giving thanks for, but is giving thanks and holding gratitude from that desire to know our oneness, from that desire to know that we are indeed a part of something much greater than any individual person or program or desire, and then it all comes together in beautiful ways that we can continue to bless one another, to hold in our hearts a space where it's safe for others to be able to really be who they truly are as they deepen their own experience of God's love in their lives, as they deepen their resiliency and their capacity to be courageous in the ways that they step out. Send that blessing out at sort of a cosmic touch point that we know that we are deeply connected in this spiritual community in ways that equip us and empower us to be all that we were created to be. Thank you, God. So as we move now into a time of meditation, what I'd like to suggest is that first breathe in deeply. Whatever it is that you do to make yourself most accessible to that divine energy, that prayerful spirit. For some people, it's like feet flat on the floor. For some people, it's legs crossed if you're home. Whatever it is that you do to become present and available to Spirit's activity in and as you. Move into that space now. And I'd like you to imagine that you are high on a hilltop with this expansive view all around you. And that you're immersed and grounded in this space of coming from an awareness of your oneness with the divine. And it's in this space that we can be present to all that's in this world that needs our blessing, that needs our higher perspective, that needs a level of consciousness that sees beyond the condition. And we know there are many places where there is lack. There are many places where just human nature sort of draws us into the story of recession and inflation, of war and conflict. And yet from this high perspective, from this hilltop view, each of us has the capacity to choose to be a presence of light. So we breathe in and we hold within us the intention to be a person of light, a person of blessing, a person that moves through life with an attitude of gratitude that comes from an awareness of our deepest truth, of our divine power, to infuse every situation, every interaction with divine love, with compassion, and with a full awareness of the deep, deep ways in which we are connected, in which we are one. And so thank you, God, that we might come from a space of a grateful heart, that we might come from a space of infinite love, that we might come from a place of unflappable, unfailing faith in the power of God's love to transcend any circumstance. So it is, and so we let it be. Amen. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
Wow. So we now come to the time in our service where we can share our love offerings. Here are 3 simple ways to give. Text the word give, and I think it's all up there. 815-827-6052. Or give online at our website of www.unityns.org, or mail a check to 3434 Central Street, Evanston, Illinois 60201. And please consider making a recurring gift. You can do that in the Tidely.ly app. Or to avoid any transaction fees, you can set up an automatic payment with your bank's online bill pay feature. In the sanctuary, place gifts in the bowl in the back. So now let's bless our giving and receiving together. Divine love
As me blesses and multiplies all that I am,
all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive.
All that I need comes to me. All that I need comes to me. The light of love and grace shines upon my face. All that I need comes to me. All that I need comes to me. All that I need comes to me. The light of love and grace shines upon my face. All that I need comes to me.
Very nice. So, this is called the wrap. However, this is a long, tedious, many things to wrap up here. So please hang in there. There is a reward. There's a reward when we go out. I want you to remember that. But thank you, musicians, live stream team, everybody. Your presence has blessed us. And here are the announcements. The Interfaith Thanksgiving Eve service this Wednesday, 7 p.m. at the First Presbyterian Church of Evanston on Chicago Avenue. To sing with the Interfaith Choir, which I think I have. Be there at 5:30. Everlasting Light Remembrance Services. The holidays aren't always jolly for everyone, especially if you're lost a loved one and there's an empty place at the table. Everlasting Light Service is a time to honor feelings of loss or grief. Zoom service will be Wednesday, December 7th at 7 p.m. and in-person service Thursday, December 8th at 7 p.m.
Actually, that's wrong. The Zoom service is at 5:30. I'm sorry, that we got to get that corrected. Zoom service is at 5:30.
Which one is that? The Thursday
December
one?
7th.
The 7th.
Yeah.
Okay. 5:30. Got that? Okay. Board of Trustee nominations are open. If you are interested in serving on the board, this year's nominating committee is led by Chet Stroine, whom we elected last year at last year's annual meeting. Suzanne Lamb is the board liaison, and Vivian Morrison is the congregational representative. Could you please stand so if anybody here wants to contact you, just Vivian and Suzanne and Chet, okay? You can contact them for any information. If you're here in person, you can pick up an info packet at the back of the sanctuary, or contact the church office and that materials will be sent to you. Well, that's almost it. Yeah. It says, let's eat, but no, wait. We now have to have our closing prayer and meditation, and then we'll eat. Okay.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
Now let us join together to say the prayer of protection. It's on the screen for those of you who need the words. The light of God surrounds us. I am light. The love of God enfolds us. I am love. The power of God protects us. I am power. The presence of us watches over us. I am presence. Wherever we are, God is. I am divine. Thank you, everyone. Please join us after service downstairs upstairs in the atrium for food and celebration, camaraderie, and have a beautiful week filled with gratitude. Thank you.
I am host now, but can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Yes, I can hear you, Dolores.
Yes.
Now we can't hear you. Your mute is on.
Okay, I hope the background noise isn't too great. Well, hi, okay, who do we have? How's everyone's week been? Okay, Lorraine, how are things going with you?
Things are going well. I have a front tooth again. Fell out. Now it's back in. So I'm very pleased. And Annie, I have Kona permanently. He's my
Oh my
doggy.
God.
Yes, yes. Judy, his first mom, decided that when he got out again from their home and then the police found him, and she and her husband weren't happy. So she decided against her heart, but knowing it would be best for him, to give him to me. So we're going through training every single day. This is like my job right now.
Oh, what a good job. And you are fantastic at it.
Oh, thank you.
I'm so I'm happy because I knew was a lot of pressure on them. And I knew you'd be a great caretaker for him.
Thank
So it
you.
worked out the way God wanted it to.
It did. It did. Yep. Yep. So he's getting healthier because he wasn't feeling too good when I got him back. He was
Aw.
stressed out. So he's getting healthier and he's not barking quite as much. Hopefully next week I can say quite. And then but he's a good boy. He's really a good boy.
Yes.
So he makes me laugh. Silly thing.
Good good job. Good job.
Yeah. And that's basically really what I've been doing.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can hear that. He's now howling outside.
Hey, Kathy, how are things going with you?
Well, I'm here. It was been a whirlwind of a move, which was a lot of challenges and I've got to come back up actually next week.